What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here. The Lab TFT tournament was yesterday. I played in this tournament, and the person that we're VOD reviewing today played in this tournament. This is a VOD review of twitch.tv/Watanabe_Kai, known as Kai to many, known as Chicken Feet 229, I think, to many. And while Kai didn't make it to the final day of this tournament, while Kai's scoreline, as you can see if I remove my camera here, going into the game was actually pretty dire. I think this game was just such an incredible game, such a good showcase of what you can do when you play for a max Heartsteel cash out. I felt like it was almost necessary for me to VOD review this game. So we're gonna VOD review it. Just like some more characterization for this game. I literally watched Kai play this game. Also, augment choice here. Cluttered Mind is a very solid augment in a spot like this. You know, just a solid econ augment. If he knew he had Heartsteel, you could go for the metabolic accelerator, but he doesn't even know for sure that he has Heartsteel in a spot like this. But yeah, like to like add a little bit of color to this, I literally watched Kai play this game, and then I went into a solo queue game, loaded it up, and did like basically exactly what Kai did this game, and it was just the easiest first of my life. I was kind of like, oh, I guess you can just do this and just like win the game as long as things don't go poorly. But you know, we'll get into that later in the game. So we have this Heartsteel Cassante to start off the game. This is a headliner that you will almost always pick up. It is multi-talented. I think some people, this guy's reaction. Some people, I think. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say like maybe I shouldn't like care about this. But you know, as I was reading the r/TFT subreddit, the other like literally today, and someone was like, "Oh, you should never pick up a Heartsteel Cassante. You're just going fast eighth because it baits you into playing Heartsteel." But I'm pretty sure, like, now that people have discovered this like Ezreal Z comp that I was talking about, like these other lines that you can play from Heartsteel, I'm pretty sure Heartsteel is still just giga broken, especially if you play a solid raise the stakes line, which, you know, is so easy to do if you want to play it correctly. We get a Philios pair here. I didn't watch this game all the way through. I would imagine you don't even buy this, but I guess we'll see here. I mean, Aphelios 2 is Aphelios 2, but I think from Kai's perspective, and yeah, he does make the Aphelios 2. I think from Kai's perspective, he's already thinking about potentially the raise the stakes. And that's why I think Kai does something that, you know, I'm not usually that comfortable doing when I play Heartsteel, but he goes for like the giga just like full loss streak Heartsteel. Like he doesn't slam like Sunfire in these early fights to like save HP or anything like that. He just wants to not slam anything and guarantee that he can take really bad, well, not bad losses, but guarantee that he can take losses later in the game. So yeah, in this spot here, I think we just needed some kind of just like finish an item here. We have Evan Shroud component, which is pretty nice here. This game could be a Yone game with the Yone picked up already, or it could just be one of those sort of like play for push levels and play Heartsteel. Probably wants to be more of that kind of a game because we have Cluttered Mind here, so you'd prefer to play like a Zed Ezreal game, I would say. But yeah, he's looking at potentially the Evan Shroud slam, but I think, you know, Kai wants to play for his loss streak here. He knows that, you know, if we slam this, it might cause us to win a fight that we would otherwise lose. Really good discipline here to not slam because this player that we're fighting is pretty weak. So, you know, if there's some kind of way that we can lose this fight, not slamming would be the way to do it. It's pretty close, but I think we're just going to end up winning it, which, you know, unfortunate that we're like win-loss, but not the end of the world. And it does mean that, you know, we'll be able to go for the double down. What is it? What's it called? Raise the stakes once we get to it. One of the nicest things, you know, Kai didn't slam any items here in this early game, but one of the nicest things you can do for yourself when you play Heartsteel is actually save HP during this stage 2. I will sometimes slam items in spots like this. Yep, like the Evan Shroud, I like it a lot. And then the nice thing is stage 3, you just have to be careful not to improve your board too much, and then you can guarantee that you lose, because most people are win streaking or like trying to improve their board stage 3, right? You can play kind of a weak early game stage 2, and then allow yourself to just sort of like carry that generally weak board in. So yeah, he just rips the raise the stakes here without even looking at it. Also, where is his Heartsteel chest, by the way? Like, I don't even see it over on the left side. It's very strange. I think probably in a spot like this, you should scout your opponents and make sure that there's no one who's like full lossing here, but I think he has a good understanding of what the lobby strength looks like, and so he knows that he can actually raise the stakes here, and it's okay. He also got a lot of econ here, which is pretty good, and wow, he already has the MF in his builder. I wonder if he already has this entire board in his builder, like the Zac, the Misfortune, the Bard, all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure. But yeah, really, really good scouting here from Kai to realize, okay, like, there are some sort of weaker boards in the lobby, making sure that he actually frontlines this Aphelios, which is quite smart against some of these weaker boards, because, yeah, we're going to fight Lil Luisito's board here, who, I mean, has an Annie with great items, but he only has 4 units in. This is actually a really, really scary fight, but we're actually going to get what looks like a perfect loss here. Really, really nice from Kai here to lose this fight. I like stationary support is just a generically solid. Oh, but cybernetic bulk is amazing in a spot like this when you're going to get all of these extra Heartsteel items. So yeah, I think it's just always bulk when you're playing Heartsteel in a spot like this. Yeah, I like it a lot. Heartsteel Aphelios doesn't really do anything for you. It allows you to play a slightly stronger backline, but you end up losing the Cassante, which feels really, really bad. He is going to just go for it, though, just that he has a stronger backline here. And the sort of nice thing is that he gets to downgrade the Cassante, which, you know, could be a good thing in a spot like this. And he already had the Aphelios, too. And he's even just going to slam the Deathblade here, because it's going to be a solid item on Ezreal, or, like, Zed later, some kind of potential late-game carry. And he's still getting cluttered mind value, which is good. He's 72 HP here, 116 stacks. Only sad part is we did not end up finding a set in this early game, so we don't have that ability to play 5 Heartsteel, which really allows you to juice up your cash out. I played this Heartsteel and was at like 300 something stacks after just my first raise the stakes in the game that I played last night, and you know, it's very, very, very nice when you can do that. But yeah, really, a really nice play from Kai just to ensure that he's losing all of these fights. Gonna lose this as well. The dummies are kind of nice because they're extra units that you can kill, but they're also kind of not nice because they do more damage to you. But yeah, 156 stacks here. Not a bad spot by any means. We have the Deathblade Slam. We have the Evan Shroud slammed. You could look for a lot of stuff here. I'm curious to see what Kai actually takes here. Like, you could go for just some kind of, like, healing reduct item. You could go for, it looks like he's looking for bow here. Titans? Or maybe just bow for bow. And yeah, he does have, like, the entire board just in his team build already. He's got a Poppy in there, which is interesting. I mean, Poppy can absolutely be a really, really nice alternative to the Zed. You know, people used to meme about the Warrior Ari comp. You know, he's almost like Warrior Heartsteel. And he decides to roll a little bit on 7. I kind of like this to go for the 5 Heartsteel, just to go for the super big cash out. And also because there's a lot of ways that you can just pick up a few units here that will spike your board. So yeah, still just playing for this full loss streak. Really, really smart because he fights another super weak board. Like so many weak boards in this lobby, actually. But by frontlining his Aphelios, he guarantees that he's going to lose these fights. And, you know, make sure that he continues his cash. 249 are his stacks here. Sadly, 1 stack off 250 here. But what's crazy about this game is Kai, without hesitating, clicks raise the stakes again. He is going for the double raise the stakes. 5 Heartsteel in with 51 HP. He says 50 HP, all good, no problem. I can go for it again. And so Kai's saying, I am Giga First or 8th in this spot, which is, I mean, it's honestly a good idea, right? When you are in this kind of position in a tournament where you know that, like, okay, like, I really need, like, a really solid performance here to make it to the end of this tournament. And so Kai just says, you know what, I'm going first or 8th here. Takes a 10 HP loss there. If we took 3 more of those, we would be at 11. So hopefully we take slightly better losses, but at the same time, like, it's going to be quite difficult to take better losses because people are going to have more units in and they're going to be spiking at 4-2. So really, really quite scary spot for Kai to be in here. I don't recall if he decides to, like, 4-1 it or 4-2 it or anything to spike his board, or if he just keeps the 5 Heartsteel in for the rest of next stage, because, like, if you don't actually decide to spike your board here, you can just die. So I'm actually interested to see what he goes for. Item-wise here, I don't know. I always like an Infinity Edge in spots like this. The chain's kind of weird. Maybe you just go something like Edge of Night, Steadfast Heart, and then go for, like, a red buff. Those might be your best thing. I kind of like those better. Because Bramble is just not really it, I feel like, as an item. He's just going for the GS, actually, and look at maybe Steadfast Heart as the next. I mean, GS is a completely solid item as well. It's just going to make it a little bit hard for us to get a healing reduct later. Another 11 HP loss, so down to 30. I definitely feel like he's pre-leveling here, so he's going to look to spike his board a bit. None of these augments look very good in this spot. Stationary support seems like a solid frontline augment, but new recruit is also really, really, yeah, I like new recruit a lot in spots like this, especially when we're going 8, maybe potentially going 9. But yeah, he's gonna fit in a slightly stronger board, but he's gonna sit on 8 and not roll 30 HP. Kai's confident that with the new recruit, with the extra units in, that he is not going to die in a couple of combats, and, well, we wouldn't VOD review the game if he did die. Well, wouldn't it be so funny if I VOD reviewed this game and he just died in 2 fights, and then the game was just over? That would be good content. Really, really fortunate, actually, that we fight the last stand player here, because they're artificially weaker than, you know, like, a normal person should be in a spot like this. We still take a 4-unit loss, because their board's not actually the weakest of all time, but that means we are alive, 18 HP, and all we have to do is not take an 8 and someone pings him here, and he already pre-defends, actually. The nice thing is that during stage 4, it's really hard for someone else to weaken their board enough that they're going to actually end up beating or losing to you. It's just too much of a grief for their side. So Kai's probably, completely fine and just like not actively griefing his board, but he is going to get the Giga Cash out here. Takes a pretty bad loss down to 4 HP, 741 stacks here, and can get potentially a 5-cost off carousel, but he just takes the Thresh here. We're going to go down to 1x speed here because, I mean, we got to for this 741 stack cash out and see how Kai pivots his board because he is 4 HP. If he takes a loss, he is dead. He is also giga locked in. Like, look at, I've never seen Kai so focused in my life. He's always like constantly just like sitting like this, like just trolling. But here he is like giga locked in, which is so fun to see. He can't push 9. He just doesn't have the econ for it. He didn't get a big enough cash out, but that is the double Fawn plus Radiant Gunblade cash out. Picks up a Thresh here, who's a decent headliner in this spot, and then just needs to roll it down here. Picks up the Blitzcrank here, and a Lowy, another Yorick, which means that we could duplicate that. Just have Yorick too. Pick up a Zac here. A lot of good stuff being picked up here. Pick up Ziggs, who's a decent backliner. I think around now in the VOD, he's like, I have no backline. And then he sees this Yorick in shop, sells 2 units, and gets the Yorick in at the last second. Now he can item hold this Yorick with the Radiant Gunblade, the GS, and the DB. And then he has like a Steadfast Heart that he can make here if he wants to, and he's going to go for it. We actually fight the Olaf player here, and the Olaf player's board is not actually strong enough to beat ours. This Yorick 2 at 4/5 with the Radiant Gunblade is just too good, and Kai, he didn't even need the duplicator to make this pivot. I wonder if he hadn't seen that Yorick, if he would have duplicated it. Probably, because this guy's an APM beast, but yeah. Realize that he doesn't really need the Thresh on his board right now. Country isn't doing much, and the TF actually does a lot, right? He can get in 4 Dazzler here with the Ziggs, and then some of, like, once we get to more backline items, we'll be able to do a lot there. The other nice thing is that new recruit plus these 2 Tactician's Crown, we have an extra 3 units on our board. On 8, we have 11 units on our board. So look how beefy this front line is, especially with the Yorick. It's almost impossible that anyone can actually get through this super meaty front line. One thing to say as well, of course, you can use the Tactician's Crowns to proc Cybernetic Bulk, so these should be on a couple of our frontline units. Kai was so locked in, I think, that he forgot about that and was just absolutely stressing himself, going crazy that he was going to die here, which, I think is completely understandable. I think he also sort of forgot about the Cluttered Mind at this point in the game because he was just trying to figure out what his strongest board is. But look how nicely this board actually fits together here. I'm going to reforge a component here, look for what a Guard Breaker is a decent item here. Yeah, it looks completely fine. But yeah, he ends up getting 4 Bruiser in with the Zac, the Olaf, the Alawi, and the Set. And yeah, this board fits together really nice. You get Pentakill in with, of course, the Yorick that we have in the Mordekaiser and the Olaf. This board just has so much stuff going on. We got Jazz in, we got the 4 I mean, look how many synergies we have in for Jazz. What's that, 8 right now? And there's probably not anything extra, right? But 8 synergy, Jazzin is amazing, and if we can decide to push 9, then we can get, even, imagine we get like a Lucian in here, and we have 3 Jazz with all these synergies in, it's amazing. We fight this Last Stand player here, who's 50 gold, by the way. I don't know what they're doing, but very unfortunate for them that they're going to fight Kai here, because Kai's board absolutely clears this board. Maybe if they could have, hit something, they could have a stronger board, but they just can't. So we're going to absolutely clear that board. And now what we're playing for is just pushing 9 and using this duplicator to improve our board. We pick up a Kiana in shop, which tends to be a fantastic unit to play on boards like this, but I'm curious how we're going to fit it. We also have this kind of interesting little disco package with the Blitzcrank too. I mean, what a cool board that Kai put together. I feel like this is one thing that, it's a skill that, some TFT players have and other TFT players absolutely do not have, is, the ability to cook a board like this and just put everything together and see how it works. Some people play TFT very formulaically and they say okay, these are the 7 or 8 units that fit on my board. And the great TFT players that ascend higher are those players who say, I'm just going to put units on my board that work together and just mash them together until they work. We're going to take a Shojin here for our Twisted Fate. Just a solid backline item because we have so much frontline at this point, right? With just the extra units that we have and the Cybernetic Bulk, which we could be spreading more, but, I won't hold it against him because this game was... He just said, look, he said, Kai, is a content player in many ways, right? Kai plays for content so often that he says, you know what, like I can't put these crowns down because it's gonna make my game way too easy. You know, if I put these crowns down, the game's not gonna be very interesting. But if I don't put them down, we'll be okay. This is also kind of scary positioning where the Yorick ends up taking a long time to walk up and then gets sort of like stuck and then ends up walking right into the Annie and getting focused down. But we've got 11 units on the board, so I don't think we have to worry too much. So yeah, I mean, this is our board. We're still 4 HP. If we fight anyone insanely strong, we could just die right on the spot. And we are, of course, greeding to go to 9, right? You could theoretically, like, roll down here, but there's not much to hit, right? You can find a Zigstew, and that's about it. We found all of our upgrades on 8, so we got to go 9. Improve our board, like I was saying, potentially get, like, that Lucian in. I mean, with a board like this, there are a lot of different routes you could take it. I think the most obvious route is, though, just playing more vertical jazz, get Lucian in. You could potentially get out of this Twisted Fate into a 5-cost carry, like a Sona or a Ziggs. But, you know, I mean, the Twisted Fate also, like, fits everything together really well. Like, it's kind of hard to see what would be better. But yeah, Kai's already thinking, okay, like, what would actually be better than this Twisted Fate? He picks up a Zed Chosen, but, you know, that doesn't really do too much. The Zac Chosen doesn't do too much. Finds another Twisted Fate, which actually might be the best option here, is just buy Twisted Fate, and so that you can keep those synergies in and then maybe think about itemizing Ziggs. But he's going to continue to roll down here. Picks up a Lowy too, which is huge. Picks up a Poppy here, which is not a bad option. It allows you to play for that 4 Mosher. But it's not amazing either. It doesn't really do too much here. And he's going to continue to roll down here. Doesn't find Ziggs too, but he's still got that Duplicator. So he's going to use Duplicator and slam 3 items onto Ziggs. And now we have a Ziggs too as our carry, which is amazing. But yeah, like this 4 Mosher, I don't think it's really the most influential synergy. I think Kai, after this fight, realizes, he's like, why am I even playing this Mosher Poppy? Like, I'm pretty sure just getting back into TF would be better. It gives us Disco again, and it gives us the 4 Dazzler, which is really nice onto the Ziggs at this point. So he makes the call, sells the Poppy, finds TF again, and then gets back into this board, which I think is really smart out of Kai. It's a little awkward positioning all your units around this. You got to be careful that you don't mess up your positioning and get like Yorick stuck in a spot like this, where like Yorick is definitely gonna have to like walk up and then like walk around to get to the front line, but it ends up sort of being okay. He ends up walking to the left side there, and this Olaf board just has no chance of ever killing our front line here. There's just no way that this Olaf board is ever going to kill anything, so that player is down. It is a top 2, and it's us versus David Ace to finish off the game. David Ace, you know, regionals player, very strong TFT player. He won the LCQ. That's what I'm thinking of when I VOD reviewed him recently. A very high skill player, so it'll be nice to see Kai versus this player at the end, and he's playing a pretty strong 7 pentakill board. So let's see what David can do. Kai's board was a little bit clumped, but it actually unclumps decently with the front line, so it's really hard for the Viego to actually ever one-shot anything. And the fight gets kind of close for a second, but it ends up being a dub for Watanabe _ Kai. He actually pulls up the main broadcast because this game was on main broadcast. Like, what a beast to do this on main broadcast. But here you can see the final board. But yeah, I mean, really cool game. I don't know. I felt I had to VOD review this game because it was such a sick game from Kai. I love seeing Kai pop off when he plays TFT. He's a very fun player to watch. And, you know, it was in tourney as well as on broadcast. So yeah, and congrats to Kai on the awesome game. With this performance, he ended up actually outscoring me in the tournament. So you're a beast, Kai. You're a beast. You're a beast. You know, I'll banter with you, but I mean, he's obviously one of the greatest players of all time. Generational team fight tactics talent. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.